Today, I'm going for a first run in the Checkered Performance Razor 3. .0 miles, 8 minutes, 7 seconds per mile, 147 beats per minute on average for today, taking the Checkered Razor 3 out for its first run. And to explain this color, it also kind of explains why I'm finally getting to this now when I'm so late to this party. This red monstrosity of a shoe, and I promise I won't go too much into the color and how much I don't like the color, but this red monstrosity of a shoe, I saw it was on sale at Running Warehouse for 50% off. So normally what's like $130 or $135 shoe, I got for 50% off because I think they're just trying to get rid of the last of the stock of this red version of the shoe. And I think you can see why. It's like red and different kinds of yellow on it, and it just reminds me of like a Ronald McDonald clown shoe, but I'm just not sure. I just don't think it works. They're almost out of stock on it on like the Checkered Performance website, like Running Warehouse, I think was trying to unload theirs. So that's where it came from. So I did pay for this shoe with my own money, like 60 something bucks, but no one's sent it to me obviously, and no one's going to pay me to make this video or to wear the shoe. And no one's gonna get a chance to preview any of my footage before this video goes up on YouTube. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the Checkered Razor 3. Now what we have here is an extremely lightweight shoe. The stated weight for my size 9 is 6.4 ounces, and it's a 4mm heel drop shoe. So a lot lower than I'm used to, but I certainly didn't really notice a huge difference in this 4mm heel drop shoe versus like the 8 or 10mm heel drops that I normally kind of tend to run in. The main story of what's going on here is the hyperburst, and I definitely like hyperburst material. It's material that I've encountered 2 other times before now. I've also taken a look at, and I'm still running in the Checkered Performance Speed Elite, which is a very similar to shoe to this with some very substantial differences, most notably the carbon fiber plate. But I've also run in the Checkered Performance Go Run Ride 8, which is like the daily trainer. It has a lot more hyperburst in it, and that's when I first kind of was introduced to that material. And what it is, it's a kind of foam that in the fabrication or manufacturing process uses nitrogen in it. It kind of looks like a packing peanut, and it kind of feels like a packing peanut. On the one hand, like when you touch it, it's very like squeezable. It feels very soft. But when you run in it, you get a very different sensation. It doesn't feel like it'd be too squishy. It's not like a ZoomX kind of like super compressible material. It absorbs like the impact really well. It's very cushioned, but it also springs back really quickly. And so I feel like the rebound on it is pretty quick. What it results in for me is at easy paces, which today a total of 10 miles, 9 miles were at easy pace. It results in, at least in the way that the Razor 3 is laid out, a pretty okay, like easy paced shoe. It felt pretty comfortable at those easy paces. There's ample cushion in the back, and there's actually a little bit of room in the forefoot, so pretty comfortable to work in. The last mile for today was at a much faster pace for me, more of a tempo pace, and that's when this shoe really started to make a lot more sense. Everything's pretty streamlined in terms of the upper. We've got a relatively breathable mesh up here, not a lot of padding in the heel cup area. In the tongue, at the way top, it's just a piece of fabric, but there is a little bit of padding, just a little bit here in the part that's going to be right underneath the laces, so you can get a nice snug fit without it pinching your feet too much. And all that results in a package that lets you go really fast without really having to think about it too much. So it really likes to be at that tempo pace, or like kind of my marathon effort, or a little bit faster. That's where it just really clicked for me. So I'm really looking forward to putting in a lot more faster efforts into this shoe, because it felt pretty exciting to be able to run in it. For a shoe that's meant to be run this way, I did feel like there was a lot of room in the toe box. So that was very nice to see. I also felt like there was a lot of room in the heel, probably a little bit more room than I needed in here, but I didn't feel like I was sliding around at all. In fact, I felt like overall, it's a pretty kind of like traditional fit as far as an upper goes. A nice upper material that's going to keep you locked in and really get the job done. Moving to the outsole, there is a very minimal amount of rubber that's very strategically placed, keeping it really light. It'll be interesting to see how this kind of stacks up over time. Some of the outsoles have Goodyear rubber on it from Skechers Performance. This does not seem to have the Goodyear co-branding on it, so we'll see how well it stacks up to some of the other rubber that I've run in from Skechers. But it's in kind of all the places that I'm going to need it. I'm going to need it right around here, and then in the forefoot, and hopefully I'll need it a lot in the toes in terms of this particular shoe. But I'll keep an eye on that as I continue to log more miles in it. I don't anticipate that I'll have a problem getting more miles in this shoe because I really enjoy it. I can see why so many of you have liked it. You've been running your marathons in it. You've been doing your long runs in it. And it's a shoe that I've kind of I've been waiting for like the next version to come out. So when I heard that the next version was a 3+, I was a little bit disappointed because I like the idea of potentially racing my next marathon in this shoe. But when it came to a $62 price tag, a 50% off, I felt like, you know what, that's a pretty good signal. This is a pretty good time to be able to pick this one up. And so I did, and I'm very glad to have it in the rotation now. There's a lot of other shoes in my rotation now that are similar to it. The Speed Elite is the one that I mentioned already. So I'll be running in that one as well to compare it. To see like where really the differences are and how Skechers seems to be differentiating the use cases for those two shoes. But the other main shoe that really reignited my interest in this shoe that I've been loving is the Brooks Hyperion Tempo. So that comparison video is going to be coming up later this week as well. So hit the subscribe button if you aren't already subscribed so you can be notified when that video hits as well. So those are some plans that I have for this shoe, the Skechers Performance Razor 3. So far, I'm liking it, and I anticipate that this is going to be a pretty good shoe for me. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or want to talk about it more down there. I'd love to keep the conversation going. That's all I have for today, everybody. Thanks so much for making it all the way to the end of the video, and I will see you guys tomorrow.
Yo, what's going on?